Oh my goodness. I think we're here. I think we made it. We're live here from Wild Plum Lane. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm sorry I'm 3 minutes late because I couldn't figure out where the button was to actually go live. So I had to Google that real quick. So, first time we are here and first time doing this. So, again, apologize for any technical difficulties in advance. I hope there's no more today, but we'll get this sorted out. I just wanted to again thank you for being here, and you can, if you want to, in the chat, you can drop in a hello or where you're joining from, or both if you feel like it. And we are going to talk for maybe about 30 minutes, not any longer than that. And if we don't get that far, we'll just be done when we're done. So anyway, a couple of things I thought we might do today. I know a lot of you have already know what's going on here at Wild Plum Lane after reading the newsletter, but I did want to share kind of the results of the survey that we did and what's coming up for 2026 and what we figured out you all wanted to see. So I wanted to share that. And then also maybe just a little bit about what I'm doing personally quilting wise rather than all the things for Wild Plum Lane. So I wanted to share a few projects that I'm working on just to chat fun little quilty things. And like I said, if you want to drop a where you're from, where you're tuning in from in the chat, that would be lovely. I would love to hear from you. And I can go ahead and get started then and share a little bit about the kind of the top things that I found out from you all in the survey this year. And if you have anything else, hi, Cindy from California. Nice to see you. So I wanted to share some of the things that came up in that survey. So the top thing that I found out, and I'm not surprised, is that most of you all want to finish your quilts this year, not start new ones. You want to start and finish and make real progress on the things you've already got going on. Hi, Jean. And the next thing is that email is a favorite way to stay in touch, but you also really like YouTube. So that's why we're here today and why I've started the channel. So I'm excited to do that. Hi, Dorsey. The third thing is that a lot of people start to feel stuck when they want to make meaningful progress, but don't know where to start. So a couple of things I want to talk about this year at some point, maybe in emails or on a podcast or right here in the YouTube live, is how to get unstuck and how to figure out which step is the next step you want to take on your projects. The fourth thing, I guess, that I really like to see is that physical things matter. So it's not just a digital world out there. People like to see paper patterns. People like to feel and touch things that came in the mail, which is fun for both the Pattern Project and the Postcard Club. And so that really resonated with people. And then also that you want quilting to feel like a calmer, more relaxing thing that you get to do maybe at the end of the day or as part of your day, rather than something that you feel like you have to do or feel pressured by. So I can 100% relate to that. Quilting is more fun when we feel like we don't have to do it, but we get to do it. So and then I guess there's one more thing, a little bonus thing, and that is that you all wanted to see, be part of the quilting community, but not something that makes you feel super pressured to join or to do all the things. And so that's part of why this YouTube live is here, is because you can join if you want to, and you don't have to if you don't want to. It's not a thing that you're going to miss out on, because it'll be posted on the YouTube page after we're done here live. So that's a little bit of the reason why we're here. And, no pressure to participate. Come if you want to, and bring your favorite mug. I did bring a quilty coffee mug today. So bring a favorite beverage that you like to drink, and we can sit down and chat. So anyway, next, I wanted to share just some of the fun projects that I'm working on. And you already know about this first one probably, but this is the Farmer's Wife 1930s set of quilt blocks. And as you know, I am still here on my first block. So I'm a little behind, but I will say that the other blocks or other pieces that I need to piece are like this. So they're pretty easy. I just need to sit down and do it. So that will happen hopefully today, definitely this weekend. And so I'll get this first one done and hopefully move on to the next. But I wanted to share the reason I love this book so much, this Farmer's Wife 1930s book, is because it has, along paired with each block, is a letter from a 1930s farmer's wife, and it tells about their life and kind of what they're working on and what they're doing. Not necessarily quilting related, but I love that it's paired with a quilt block, and just makes you kind of feel connected to history and to women throughout time. And so anyway, that's why I'm doing it. I've had that book since 2018, so time to start. The second project I'm working on is part of a sew along. So it is from Knot and Thread, and it is this, oops, I just dropped it on the floor. Hold on. It is her fun new Stitch and Stash tote bag. I don't do a lot of bags, so this is going to be the biggest one I've ever done, and it's a little scary. But I pulled from my stash this super fun book fabric from Rifle Paper Company, and that's going to be my main fabric for this. So I think it'll be a bag that can go to the library, grab library books. Probably it will also have sewing things in it to go to kids' ball games and all that kind of good stuff and practices. And so that's this. This is actually a sew along that's going on right now from Knot and Thread. If you have a strong desire to try a bag pattern, but so that's going on right now. I think this week's task was to gather our supplies. So I do have a box on the way with the rest of my supplies. I have my fabric sitting here, but the rest of the things are on the way. It is a 4-week sew along, so I will not finish, but I can, because I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to be still working on this in like April. But maybe I'll finish it this year. It'll be good. And then what else did I want to share with you? Oh, the next thing I did that surprised me, I forgot I signed up for it, but it is a block of the month with Casey Maker Studio. So they're one of our local quilt shops here in Kansas City. Super great set of folks there. And they're doing Elizabeth Hartman's pattern called, well, I know the pattern itself is called, what is it called? It's super cute. The Show and Tell quilt. So it's the Show and Tell block of the month pattern, but it's all these little forest animals and they're all holding up little quilts. If you haven't seen it yet, it is very cute. They do ship from Casey Maker Studio, and I think you can still sign up if you're interested in sewing along with me or anything like that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I forgot I signed up, and then I got my first bill, and I was so excited that I had actually signed up. Again, hopefully I can keep up with that one. We'll see how that goes. And then the last thing I'm doing is a mini quilt swap. So the gluten-free quilter, her name is Kimberly. She's doing a mini quilt swap that you can join. I think it's through her website, The Gluten-Free Quilter. I know she's on Instagram at The Gluten-Free Quilter if you are there. Oh yeah, Cindy, you know the Show and Tell pattern. It is super cute. And anyway, so Kimberly is doing that quilt swap, and it's a mini quilt. So it's not, I don't have to make anything giant, which I don't have time for. So I've been searching through patterns to figure out which ones to do. I've pulled out these mini quilt patterns from Cluck Cluck. So maybe one of those. I also found, this is from Lily Ellis Stitchery. I don't know if you can see it. There's these little foundation paper pieced butterflies. They're so cute. And they finish at about 5 inches. So they'd be perfect to pair with some other 5-inch blocks or something like that to make a little mini quilt out of. So I'm excited I'm waiting to see what my swap partner likes before I decide which actual pattern to make. So it should be fun. We all actually had to fill out a questionnaire about, colors you like and things like that. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. But that's happening this month, and it's heading into February also. So looking forward to that. And what else is going on around here? A little of everything. I mean, starting a podcast has been fun and a learning experience. So that's the First Stitch podcast. I know you all know about it. I've talked about it a couple times. And then, starting this YouTube channel is also really fun. I'm planning this year on doing a couple series of videos. So kind of like a mini course, but for free here on YouTube. And topics, I think my first topic is going to be English paper piecing. You may or may not already know how to do it, but I'm going to share resources, how to get started, and, tools and supplies that are helpful. And that'll be a series. I'm not going to do a giant, 40-minute long one video. It'll be just a series of 3 to 5 minute videos, I think, that come out. And yeah, so I don't know if you all have any ideas of things that you'd like to see, you can email me or you can drop something in the chat. The other thing that I thought I might like to share about on YouTube is making cookies that look like quilt blocks. I used to be a baker, which is my random fact that I share with people is that I actually got to put the sparkles on Celine Dion's 40th birthday cake. So that's a little random bit of knowledge. But whenever anybody asks in a group setting, oh, what's one fact about yourself that you'd like to share? That's the one I always go back to because it's a little bit funny. But I worked for a cake company in Sydney, Australia at the time when she turned 40 and got to put the sparkles on. So not anything else on the cake, but the sparkles, all me. So anyway, I did work in cake world and cookie world for a little while, and I'm looking forward to kind of combining that with with quilts and cakes. That's going to be a mouthful. So yeah, if you have any questions for me, if there's anything you want to know or ideas for Wild Plum Lane or things you're thinking about, I'd love it if you drop it in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking today and if this is interesting to you or if there's other topics you'd love to hear about live. And yeah, I did just finish 2 quilts that went out to a fabric manufacturer. So those I should be able to share with you, I think in February or March. I have to check the dates to be sure, but those will be coming out, the photographs in their catalog to share with all the quilt shops who want to buy their new fabric line. So pretty excited about that. That's going to be happening at least one more time this year. I don't know anything beyond that, but when I went to Quilt Market in the fall, it was really fun to connect with some of the fabric manufacturers and other people in the industry just to find out what goes on and how they need help from quilt pattern designers and that kind of thing. So that's what we learned, or that's what I learned out at Quilt Market, is sort of how the whole thing works. And unfortunately, that was the last Quilt Market. I think they're discontinuing that. But there is a show called H&H coming up in May that I will be attending, and that's in Chicago. And what's fun about that one is that it's all of the fiber art. So there's crochet, there's embroidery, there's all kinds of things happening there. So it's going to be fun to see how quilting intersects with those industries also. So that's a little bit of travel plans for the year. I don't know if anybody's going to QuiltCon or any other quilt shows this year, but I know this is one of the years. Kansas City Regional Quilt Festival is every other year. So this is our off year this year. And that always happens in the summer. I do have 3 kids who went with me last year. And they told me that they would like to submit their own quilts for the kids quilt display. They haven't started those. So we'll see if we get around to that, but excited to see if they want to actually submit something and have it hang in the show. It was fun to see last year. I did put a couple of my own quilts in. I will tell you, we all got comments back from the judges, and I've still been too scared to open mine. I'm not sure I want to know what I did wrong because I had fun making those quilts. So I'm not sure I want to look at them through a judge's eyes. Maybe I need to give those to somebody else to read and then tell me the high points, I guess. So those are still sitting in my desk waiting for somebody to read them. Probably not me. I appreciate the fact that they did them, but it's a little scary. So anyway, yeah, we might just end here a little bit after about 15 minutes, but if you have any questions or thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the chat, even if it's just a bye. But this has been really fun. Oh, Cindy, you asked, do you think one day you might do a YouTube tutorial about pillow covers? Oh, yes, that's a great idea. I love envelope backing. I have actually never done a zipper closure, so I can definitely teach about envelope backing. That is a great idea. You have a collection of pillow forms and don't know how to use them. I have, that's a wonderful idea because there are some different calculations for the different sizes. So I don't know if you have all one size or if it's, different sizes, but there's some ways to calculate how big the pieces need to be. And that would be a great idea for a tutorial. So thank you for dropping that in the chat. It's an awesome idea. And you know what? A pillow is a great little project too, because it's not going to take you, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, whatever it happens to be. You can turn one or maybe 4 quilt blocks or something into a little pillow and put it out for decoration. I love that. Squares. Okay. Yeah. That's fabulous. And you know what? It's also a really great way to test out a quilt pattern to see if you actually want to make it. So if you just make one block from something and you have it left over, that's another great use for those kind of one-off orphan blocks. I call them orphan blocks, I guess. I don't know what other people call them. But the one-off blocks is a great use for those pillows. Of course, you're very welcome. And I don't know anything else really today that I was necessarily going to talk about. So if you have questions, again, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'll stick on here and just blabber for a few more minutes. But Jean says, loved this, loved hearing about all your projects. Ooh, yes. And the Farmer's Wives book is really, really fun. So thank you all for your comments and for chatting with me today. Oh, thank you, Dorsey. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, with that, I think let's go ahead and wrap up today. Thank you again for joining me. I'm so glad to have some good, fun, nice people to chat with this morning. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend ahead. And I did want to say, I think I'll try to do this every other week. So probably not every Friday, but we'll try it again on the 30th. So if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to live, I will schedule that in and you should be able to access the link to join from the live section of my YouTube page. So I hope I will see you again on the 30th. Have a good day. Bye.